In this video, I'm going to explain to you why I don't track my macros or calories and why I don't think you should too, especially when you're starting out in the gym. So subscribe and stick around to the end to implement these tips and tricks into your life. So I've been a skinny kid my entire life, right? I went from 45 kg and severely underweight in September of 2022 to 60 kg now and at normal weight for my height. And I never tracked my macros or calories once. I've just been going to the gym, working out at home, going to the gym sometimes, and I have built muscle and I've gained weight. Some may say that my progress of maybe 15 kilograms over the course of these 6-7 months has been slow. However, I personally think that this is kind of what I wanted. I didn't want to get fat. I wanted to build muscle at a proportional rate at the kind of way my body was sort of gaining fat. So I gained body weight. My body weight's obviously increased. My body fat's obviously increased, but so has my muscle mass. And I've not just got fat and instead of being obscenely skinny, I've just got skinny fat. And that's not happened, and that's kind of the goal of what I wanted to do. And yeah, that's great. And what I did was I just ate more of the healthy stuff. I just ate more of the healthy stuff I was already eating. Instead of having the 3 balanced meals a day, which I used to have, I'd eat 4 or 5. I have an overactive thyroid, which is something where your body releases too much thyroxine and it increases your fast metabolism. It's something that runs in the family, and I can't really control it, but it just means I have to eat more to increase my weight. You wouldn't believe how much I eat in a day and will still literally lose weight. But that's just kind of my struggles. Some people have a worse case than I do, and some people have incredibly underactive thyroid, so it means they gain weight incredibly easily. However, for what you have to do is you have to find the kind of how many meals a day it takes to sort of just stay the same weight, and then just eat more healthy stuff and you will bulk up. And that's for skinny kids like me. If you're fat, then I'll get onto that in a separate bit of the video, but for skinny kids like me, you just have to eat more healthy stuff and you'll be fine. Because the other reason why you shouldn't track your calories or macros is when you're in the gym and you're starting out in the gym, you build muscle so easily as in a new gym person. And then when you start 2-3 years into the gym, that's when you should probably start tracking your macros and calories, because guess what? Your macros and calories genuinely have such a big effect on the muscle that you build in that year. There's a quote that says 90% of it is just showing up when you go to the gym. And that's to start getting the habit kind of set in your mind. And that is absolutely true. All you need to do is start showing up, because tracking your macros and your calories, where fitness gurus say you need to eat 0.5 kg of protein per body weight, all that sort of stuff just not really demotivates you, but think it's such a complicated process when realistically, as I just said, you just have to show up and start lifting the weights. That's all it is. That's all it is. Now, for people who are currently maybe fat or obese and want to lose weight, then all you have to do is stop eating so much sugar. I did a video on sugar, and the way to lose weight without tracking your macros is what I said: stop eating sugar. In that video, I said how sugar is causing your problems, and one of those problems was fatness and obesity. I'll do a quick kind of summary and sort of stuff here right now, and it's when your blood sugar level spikes because you've eaten so much sugar, your insulin has to decrease your blood sugar levels, and if your blood sugar levels spike too much and too often, then your muscle cells will gain a desensitivity to your insulin, and your blood glucose levels will stay really high. And because your body has to get rid of it somehow, it actually transforms the glucose, excess glucose, into fat. And this builds up in your veins and your arteries and around your organs, and that is called visceral fat. And that's actually why metabolic syndrome and cardiovascular diseases have increased the more sugar that we've had in our diet. It's not due to fat, it is literally due to sugar. So all you have to do is stop eating all the sugar that you currently have in your diet, the empty calories, switch up the glucose that you currently get to starch, or go on a keto diet, an Atkins diet, and your glucose levels will eventually sort of start to kind of get down to normal levels just by your insulin eventually really tough trying to get it back down to baseline, because your muscle cells have been so desensitized to the insulin for so long. That is the no BS way to lose weight without tracking your macros, because it demotivates you. When you have to track your macros, like every day, track your 0.5 kg per pound of body weight for protein, it confuses you and it makes you think that it's so complicated. So all you have to do is stop eating sugar and you will lose weight. It's as simple as that. If you don't, please comment on the video and tell me what I'm doing wrong. But it just seems like such an easy hack, but a lot of people who are obese and fat may have eating disorders and they binge eat sugar and empty calories, and that's what makes them fat. Alcohol is also another reason, and if you are currently fat and drink lots of alcohol, then get off of the alcohol, because alcohol is just a genuine toxin. So sugar and alcohol are the two things that you have to kind of eliminate entirely from your diet. Not entirely for sugar, because there's other stuff. I explained that in my sugar causes all your problems video, but I recommend watching that. But sugar and alcohol, I recommend eliminating from your diet completely for the most part. So when should you track your macros? That's the question. Now, as I said before, it should probably be about 2 to 3 kind of years after you've actually started setting your gym going into a habit. And I did a video on the 4 stages of self-improvement, where it's health at the beginning, finance, relationships and family, and then health again. I think in the final stage of self-improvement, that's when it's really important to track your macros, because as I said before, it genuinely impacts how much muscle you make, because as a new gym goer, you build so much muscle, it doesn't really matter about your macros. However, if you've been going to the gym for 6-7 years, the amount of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals that you eat per day genuinely impacts the amount of muscle that you build. So I hope you found value out of this video on why I don't track my macros and why I don't think you should too. Really only when you're starting out in the gym, and then you can eventually when you've made your living, made a career, built a business, done whatever you really choose. And if you need any other help on anything kind of self-improvement related, my coaching calls are in the link in the description, and I recommend subscribing because it's free, and I love this community of young tribal men who are willing to improve themselves so much more than they already have.